And entering the ring, the fallen prime, betrayer of the 13, Megatronus! Yes, after years, we finally have another Megatronus / the Fallen figure, because apparently they needed both come up with the name Megatronus and get clearance for something that resembles something out of the IDW continuity. It does have some more stuff to it, but let's face it, if it's the boiler design, it's mostly borrowing off the original IDW. And as we can see here, Megatronus / the Fallen does turn into a tank. Its connections can be a little fiddly depending on which one you get, but it's a tank that's on fire with stabbing weapons. Can't get more evil than that, can you? Now, as I mentioned, the tabs on this are a little fiddly here and there, but at least it does have a rotating turret. Moving the barrel up and down is a little strange because it's just kind of connected by two 5mm ports, so it's not exactly the most stable. But it does look intimidating. Now, obviously, with the interesting transformation, you're going to have a few oddities here and there. Yeah, there are some gaps and odd spaces here, and yeah, visible head syndrome, but we've all seen a lot worse. Now we'll get on to transformation. We'll start by removing this barrel tip here, folding it down. That'll come into play a little later. Next, we will untab the front, move this upward a little bit, then come to the turret, fold these down. These will be the arms. Fold in the cannon. You can, if you want to, have the gun barrel like this or like that. Let's just have it like this because, well, let's face it, Megatronus. Getting back to the transformation, we'll move these bits right here. Those are his shoulder-mounted weapons because he needed to be even more dangerous. Come to the front here, flip this upwards and twist it around. Bring the head like so. Now we'll untab these parts right here. Fold those down. You kind of have to accordion this in a kind of a funny way, but roughly that's what it's going to look like. You're not going to see that in a minute because it's going to have more stuff in it, but there you go. Fold these down, twist, fold this part down, fill in the chest, which does help tremendously. This part is rather important because otherwise you're going to have funky looking chest and it won't peg in all the way. Okay, here's what the assembly looks like when it's properly oriented in. Unpeg this part right here, fold this and this in like so, then close all of that for the chest. Open up the forearms for the hands. And yes, I will mention, this has been one of the more solid figures I've seen in a while. As few gaps and empty spots as they could possibly put in one of the figures like these. There we go. And yes, there is molding here and there scattered about inside the figure itself, so good luck hunting for those. Alrighty, I didn't show you this part before, but you just kind of fold these parts down and just collapse them in like so, creating a very cohesive backpack. Collapse these in here for the arms. Then, this part, you disconnect these pegs and finagle these downward. Open up the treads here. Fold out the foot. Close, close. Repeat with the other leg. Fold in this part, twist this around, and one thing. So yeah, you notice that these were a little misassembled. That's actually because they popped off when I was getting it into the tank mode. They just pop right back on. Anyway, twist the feet, or rather the lower leg. Alright, and Megatronus robot mode. Now, as mentioned earlier, this is a very solid figure. Most of the empty spots have decent enough cover to make it not look like completely hollow or well hidden. And this is a fairly weighty figure, which, considering the price you're paying for it these days, You would certainly hope. Getting on the accessories, you have 2 ports on either arm that you can place this arm cannon onto. The barrel in tank mode just goes right there as a sort of additional shoulder cannon. You have opening hands, which can fit either weapon because it needs to be even more dangerous. And of course you have his signature flames, which on the backpack you do have ports on. These you can actually stick onto here, but I've yet to see one actually do that and have it look right. And these just peg on where they were before, like so. Have you been a boy? Getting on the accessories here, we do have a signature flames. There are ports on either end of the backpack. These parts right here can attach to either weapon, though people tend not to do that. The parts right here just peg into the arms, shoulders, like so. Now the cannon, you have 2 ports on either arm. You can place it on, so yay for that. You have his knife, which you can put in one hand, but thanks to the opening hand, you can put both weapons because he needs to be extra dangerous. And finally, we have the barrel, which can actually peg onto the backpack as well. Have you been a bit good boy or girl? Because he's watching you. I will address this complaint, even though it's in a minority. No, he has no light piping. He kind of has the flames for that. So, a few people are going to be disappointed, but that's the way it goes. Unless DNA Designs does something. We already have a kit from Toy Hacks for the stickers, so who knows? Articulation, the head is on a ball joint, so you can get plenty of evil stares at people. The shoulders on an interesting articulation, so you're potentially going to pop them off, but they can, depending on the angle, that's not going to look too bad. So now, bicep swivel, 90-degree elbow bend, waist swivel, primarily for transformation, but still nice to have. Universal joint for the hips, 90-degree knee bend, and forward moving tilt. Also to the side, so yeah. So if you need evil poses, you can do them. Side note, these weapons can also peg on the backpack here. Isn't storage lovely? Now, given how recent Canon has put Megatronus as Megatron/D13's idol, it kind of makes the whole situation a little strange, considering that this is basically now the robot Satan. I realize that should have been Unicron, but that's kind of another story. But I can definitely see the hype with the figure. It is solid, it is impressive, and depending on how the tabs hold, it's definitely a nice addition to your collection, provided you can find a price you're willing to pay for it. Anyway, this has been Megatronus the Fallen from Age of the Primes, and I'm Deceptiwolf from Running Wall. Free your mind, free your toys.